Welcome everyone to the SoCal Edison Retirement Planning webinar. I am Kerry Facer, founding partner of Warren Street Wealth Advisors, and with me today, two members of our team, Emily Balmages, certified financial planner, and Justin Rucci, certified financial planner. We're all here together to help you plan your retirement, so we're excited that you've joined us. If you want a copy of our ADV, please dial that number there, and we will send you a copy with all our fun disclosures. Today, we're going to discuss our steps for a successful retirement. We have 8 steps ready to go. We're going to cover these. We've taken the past 13, 14 years that I've been working with Southern California Edison employees, helping them retire, and comprise this down to a quick 15 or 20-minute webinar. And we're going to give you all the things that we've learned over the years. So let's begin. We're in a recession, maybe a smart time to buy. Buy, are you leaving? Did she get fired? Layoffs, this is so depressing. Depression, we're in a depression, sell. We hear this all the time. It's usually, should I buy or sell Edison stock? A lot of our clients have already diversified, but if you have not, don't listen to the water cooler talk. Please send us a note. We're happy to help you figure out what to do with that stock. This is our team. There's 9 of us. We've got 3 of us on the call today. We are fiduciary, so we never have any commissions tied to our investments. We work in the client's best interest, and that is our goal. So when you decide to work with Warren Street Wealth Advisors, you really do get the power of 9. And you'll see that here in a moment with the power of 3 as we guide you through these steps for retirement. So as we showed you in the invitation, you have the investment options in your 401k at Southern California Edison. I'm going to teach you real quick how to buy stock. By the way, I do not recommend you do this without consulting with your financial planner first. But I do want to tell you that if you want to buy Tesla stock as an example, again, not a stock recommendation, but if you were to buy some, you can buy it inside your 401k. And so we get called all the time by clients asking if they should be buying the latest IPO or particular stock that they're interested. Amazon, Apple, Tesla are the popular ones. So right here, if you go through your retirement savings tool, the 401k, and you look at the 3-tier options, you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. You open up a tier 3 option with Charles Schwab. And once that account is open and you make a transfer from your core, whether it's the tier 1 or tier 2, but your core holdings over into the PCRA option, you then have an account at Charles Schwab, which you can then log in and trade away at your leisure. Again, if you have any questions on that, we are happy to walk you through. At the end of this call, we're going to be giving away a way to schedule some time with us, and I can follow up with you and answer any questions you have about that. And by the way, what we end up doing, like Financial Engines uses the tier 2 option. Warren Street Wealth Advisors actually trades our clients' 401ks for them using the tier 3 option as well. So you can have us do it, and you could also buy some stock in there for yourself if you want. So our steps for a successful retirement, you're here, so congratulations. Number 1 is done. Number 2 is going to be read the retirement handbook, and we'll be giving that away to you in a follow-up email, and it's also on our website. If you go under the Who We Serve page, and you'll see Southern California Edison, the handbook and the toolkit are there for you, so feel free to check out our site, warrenstreetwealth.com. But in the meantime, Justin is going to jump in here and cover the retirement handbook and some things to consider. Justin?
Yes, thanks, Kerry. So I'll quickly run through some of the items on here, and to Kerry's point, this is available to you for reference later on, should you want to come back to this. The first 2 items on the handbook are making sure that you have a plan. Probably goes without too much explanation, but this is obviously a huge transition and lifestyle change. So you want to make sure you have a plan going into retirement and you know exactly what you want to do and how you're going to do it. Number 3 is make sure you time your retirement correctly, meaning you're maximizing any sick time or paid vacation time, bonus payouts, all those sort of things. You want to try and take advantage of everything that you have available to you. And so whether you're timing your retirement at a particular date or the start of a fresh calendar year, perhaps, you just want to make sure you're thinking that decision through. 4 is if you want to retire early, we frequently have people come to us and say, I'm not 59 and a half, the typical IRS retirement age. Do I need to wait until then to retire? The short answer is no. There are ways around those early withdrawal penalties. So if you want to retire, we sometimes see people go in the 55, 56, 57 range. Talk to us. We can certainly help you figure out whether it's something that's doable. Number 5 is medical expenses, making sure you're budgeting for that. So it's something that comes out of your check right now automatically. You're not necessarily thinking about it, but in retirement, that cost may change depending on what benefit you have available to you. And then you're also now paying for it out of pocket as opposed to direct debited from a check. So you want to make sure you're factoring that into your retirement calculations, which we can help with. Number 6 and 7 go together really. You want to try and clean up the balance sheet as much as you can. So get rid of credit card debt prior to retirement, ideally, and then try and build up some cash reserves so you just have some emergency savings. We usually recommend targeting around 6 months worth of expenses as your emergency fund. 8 is building and keeping a budget. We'll get to this a little bit more later in the presentation, but this is a really important step because it really helps us determine what your retirement will look like and whether or not it's something that you're on track for and how it'll all play out. Number 9, Social Security. Emily will actually cover some details on Social Security in just a few slides here, but know you have options on there and we're able to advise you on what makes sense for your situation. It's a very individual case-by-case basis. Lastly here, invest for retirement. This means not just investing smart, meaning diversification and not having all your eggs in one basket, but also taking advantage of the accounts available to you, whether it be your 401k, Roth IRAs, or other tax advantage accounts. So number 3 on our agenda for today is to avoid common roadblocks. These are items we see frequently. I'm going to pass it to Emily, and she's going to go over these items with you.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Hello, everyone. I'm going to quickly run through these, and if any of these are relatable, know that you are not alone. Number 1, failure to plan. This one, sort of self-explanatory, but I would add that it's never too early to start, and even knowing that life will happen, plans will change. We have seen clients completely change their spending and saving habits once a plan is in place, because seeing those projections and seeing what saving today can look like 20 years down the road can be very motivating. Second item, inflation. This is a big one. Even just at 2% a year, rising costs can have a major impact over a 30 to 40 year retirement time horizon. So you want to make sure any plan accounts for inflation. Tax burden, this one is inescapable, but there are some powerful strategies to reduce your tax burden both pre and post retirement. Starting early can help make these strategies more powerful. Procrastination, we can all relate to this one to some extent, and the reality is most people find financial planning topics intimidating, confusing, boring, etc. So the to-dos fall to the bottom of the list. So that's where we can help partner with you to bring those items back to the forefront. And last one, lack of financial knowledge. This is extremely common. There's so much to know, and things like tax rules are changing frequently. And again, this is where partnering with a trusted advisor can help steer things in the right direction. And I will cover a few very high-level Social Security strategies here. Every situation is truly unique. So before making any decisions with regard to your situation, feel free to reach out to us directly. You are probably aware the ages to claim are 62 to 70. You can collect while working, though your benefits may be reduced if you are younger than full retirement age. Full retirement age is currently between 66 and 67, depending on the year of your birth. Waiting until 70 can pay off. You can receive what's called a delayed retirement credit of 8% per year for every year you wait to claim between full retirement age and age 70. There are spousal benefits and an interaction between your own benefits and spousal benefits. So if you are married, you should coordinate your benefits with your spouse, and there are some strategies there. Underlying all of these decisions are health and anticipated longevity, meaning that if you think you may have a longer than average life expectancy or a shorter than average life expectancy due to medical issues or genetics, that will factor into the planning here. The number 1 question we get is Social Security going away? This is a good question. The system has some very complex problems, but there are legislative solutions. We do not think it's going away. We do think that the legislative solutions will eventually be applied and the system will be strengthened. And I will pass it back to Justin for some basic investing tips.
Thanks, Emily. So I'm going to just go over some items to consider when it comes to investing. The first one is probably straightforward and self-explanatory, but it's really the one that makes the biggest difference, which is how much you're able to put away and put away on a regular basis. So as simple as it is, it's really the one factor you have the most control over. Number two is not just putting money away and sticking it under the mattress, but being able and willing to take smart risks with that and put that money to work. Three is diversification, which goes hand in hand with number two, is not just taking risks, but taking smart risks, not putting all of your money in one company stock or one industry or even one geographical location. Rebalance is next. That just means if you set your allocation when you first started working and you never went back in and rebalance, chances are your stock to bond percentage or the investment allocation you had set has gotten out of sync with where you initially set it, just with the way the market moves. So that's an important step. We do it for our clients, and we frequently recommend that to people who are self-managing to make sure they stay on top of that as well. And lastly here, think contrarian. This has probably never been true more, is in a world where there is endless amounts of virtual water cooler talk, discussion boards, and momentum stocks, be willing to do something different, because oftentimes the best investments are not the ones that are being talked about the most on TV or online. Next on our agenda for today's retirement webinar is the Retirement Toolkit, which I alluded to a little bit earlier. This is basically where we recommend everybody start when they're looking at retirement. It's made up of two pieces. The first one we have on the screen now, we call it your net worth scorecard. This is essentially just a template to fill out all your assets, all your liabilities, and then obviously you can do the subtraction at the bottom there to figure out what your net worth is by subtracting your liabilities from those assets. This is a really good exercise, not just to get an assessment of where you are as a household for retirement, but also just in general. I usually recommend people do this at least kind of once a year or every couple of years, just to get a good feel for where they're at and if they're making progress. Once you've done that, the next step is probably the one that people like doing the least, but we try and make it as painless as possible by giving you a template to work from, and then recommending you spend about 15-20 minutes at the most on this. Don't get down to the penny. We just want to get round figures, but determine what your estimate is for your monthly expenses. And I usually recommend doing this with retirement in mind. So add in your retiree medical, add in what if you tend to travel more, add in those sort of things, so you're properly planning for what you're actually going to be spending in retirement. Along those lines, I'm going to pass it to Carrie. He's going to talk about what that lifestyle looks like when you do go into retirement and how to plan for those items.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Justin. So what I've seen over the years is that when a client finally comes to us and says, I think I've, saved enough, I want to find out if I can retire, is we can help them really gain confidence in that they can retire. And then it's a matter of trying to figure out what they're going to do with all this new time and these resources. And, everything from the 401k, the cash balance, maybe savings, checking, rental property. But we're turning income on. We're going the other way. We're not saving. Now we're spending. Is what are we going to do with our time? And so we like to reflect and step back and really help our clients see what it was that they were working towards all these years and saving for all these years. And so we want to think about hobbies, spending more time with family, travel, sports, learn, volunteer, and start to get some goals set in mind, because this new chapter that you're going to be stepping into really is a new phase of life. And this is not, retirement isn't like sitting around the house and watching TV all day. This is the time to actually, take those dreams that you have been thinking about so long and actually get the gumption to chase those. And so we'd like to encourage our clients to think about that today. Start thinking about those. Now, where will you live? This has been interesting. We've seen a lot of clients leaving California. Texas has become very popular. Nevada, Idaho, Washington State, Arizona. Nearby, one of the things, obviously here you can see by these red areas on the map here, there are 6 sections here that are California that are the most expensive metro areas, according to the study a few years back. But is just because you can move to somewhere that is more affordable from both a cost of living standpoint and a state income tax, and maybe even real estate taxes, but it's traditionally state income is what a lot of people are trying to move out of state for to avoid, and or maybe a different political environment. What we want to remind our clients is that the reality is really comes down to 2 things that we don't traditionally think of as financial planners, but is the weather and the relationship. So where are your friends and family going to be? How far are they going to be away, from you? And then what's the weather going to be like? It's late January right now. It's cooled down quite a bit. And a lot of our clients in Southern California, Edison retirees. So we're here in SoCal. We're complaining about how cold it is. But the rest of the country, those darker blue sections there are freezing, literally freezing. And so what we want to encourage you to do is not travel to these places that you want to retire at in the summertime. Instead, do summer and do a winter. Spend a week or two of wintertime in the state that you want to reside in retirement. And we'd even go a step further. We've given this advice before in the past: is don't sell all your or don't sell your real estate here and buy new real estate in one of these other locations. Instead, go rent. Go rent and travel around and make sure it's somewhere you want to be full time. The good news is we're living longer. About 2 years ago was the time, you can actually see it here on the map on the graph between 2014 and 16, where here in North America, it's starting to taper off. So we, since the 60s, everybody's been living longer and longer. What that means for us as planners is when you get ready to retire, and let's say you're 55 years old today and you're attending a retirement planning webinar, is if you're healthy and alive and well at age 55, the odds of you living into your 90s are very high, because the average life expectancy might be 78 or 80 years old. That takes everybody into account. And so if you're alive and well and 55 years old today, the odds of you living into your 80s or 90s goes way up compared to the average life expectancy. So when we as advisors build a retirement plan for you, we will be taking in a conservative approach to this and be running illustrations out to age 90 or 100, because the last thing we want to do is for our client to retire and run out of money. I'm sure it's not your plan, and we definitely don't want it to be ours. So steps for a successful retirement. Here we're done with 6 as far as building the vision. So again, go back and think about what it is you want to be doing with your money and time and where that's going to be. And then I want to talk about next steps. We've had a lot of clients attend these events before and share with us that they couldn't understand how we make money or how our competitors charge. So we want to be very transparent about it and show our pricing. So if you have us manage your 401k or an account for you, this is only for the money we manage. And on the first million, we start at 1%. You can see the fees go down after that. The reason why we show above 5 million is because we have friends and family pricing, which is bundled pricing for up to 5 people. So if you and let's say your spouse were to retire and be our client, that would be 1 household. If you had a friend that referred you, that would be 2. So you could do up to 5, and that offers bundled pricing for up to 5 family members. And that's that. Financial planning. If you want us to build you a financial plan, at the end of this meeting, we're going to send out, or we're going to give you a link to schedule time with us for a free complimentary retirement call. In that, at the end of the call, we can give you a quote for the cost for a financial plan. And if you do buy a financial plan and we put one together for you, this is what it would be made of. It's 6 steps. We go through establish, we go through full discovery. This is all documentations, tax returns, investment accounts, bank statements, the whole deal. We put the plan together, come up with the solutions, and where we spend the majority of the time is with our financial plans. They come with a full year of service. As we spend the majority of the time, this is really Emily and Justin, where they spend a lot of their time is implementing the plan, because we can do the solutions. We can come up to with the plan and the solutions, in roughly, I would say 4 to 6 weeks time between the first initial meeting, you decide you want to move forward and work with us, and then we come back and forth with you with all the data and the numbers to show you what we suggest. Implementation takes time, because it might be opening a new account, having you retire, creating an estate plan, selling a property, refinancing a home. These are not quick transactions or quick to-dos. So what we do is we include a full year of implementation to carry out the service for this plan. And then on the back end, of course, we are advisors. We just don't work on gut, we work on data. So this is what the back end of a plan looks like. And what we want to get you to, and at some point when it comes to retirement, is in this confidence zone. So those green section up there in the first image there, we want to get you in the confidence zone. That's be able to retire at the age you want with the amount of money you want and to accomplish all of your goals that we put in the plan for you. And then on investing, we have an investment proven process. We manage 3 core strategies in-house at Warren Street Wealth Advisors. Our portfolio managers, there's 2 of them. Blake Street, one of the founding partners, our chief investment officer and CFA, helped construct the framework for how we trade and invest and rebalance. Like Justin mentioned earlier, rebalancing and diversification, these are all the things we do on behalf of our client for you. And we built it into 3 core portfolios that we can then blend. So we have a global stock, a global bond, a global real asset portfolio that we then blend to create a custom portfolio based on a risk profile that's suitable for you. So we are getting down to the end here. So we've gone through steps 1 through 7. We're now at step 8. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us or use the chat feature to ask us any questions, and then we'll follow up with you with that response. If you want to book a consultation, you go to our website /schedule. So warrenstreetwealth.com/schedule. You can book some time with anybody that's available on that page. I will be available on that page, and we'll offer you a free complimentary retirement consultation. We can talk about all the things we just went over. And you're always welcome to give us a call. A real person will answer our phone. And so if you want to talk to Emily, Justin, myself, or anybody at Warren Street, you're free to do so. And finally, you can send us an email, info@warrenstreetwealth.com. I want to thank everybody for attending the Southern California Edison Retirement Planning webinar. We hope that was helpful. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again for attending.